You can forget to remember what it used to feel like to doubt yourself, because once a man tried to assemble an IKEA shelf with nothing but confidence and two left thumbs. And somehow, despite every piece being backwards, the shelf still stood, wobbly, sure, but gloriously, defiantly, uniquely upright. And maybe you're like that shelf, stronger than your instructions, and twice as interesting. You might wonder, what happens when you embrace the odd? Like a hedgehog in a top hat, strutting through a boardroom. Well, that hedgehog, he doesn't care that he doesn't belong, because confidence isn't about belonging. It's about being too fabulous not to be noticed. And as you notice yourself noticing, you might notice that the act of noticing begins to create a change. You don't have to know how a seed grows into a tree to enjoy the shade. And that's how unconscious learning works. Because right now, you're installing, aren't you? A whole new way of being, of becoming. A belief system so smooth, so integrated, so oddly delightful. It slips in sideways. Like a brilliant joke whispered at the wrong moment that still lands perfectly. You see, beliefs shape reality. When you believe that reality is absurd, you can bend it into laughter, into art, into advantage. Failure, it's feedback. In a feathered boa, ridiculous, dramatic, but useful. Your state like a thermostat from a soul. Want confidence, turn it up. Want peace, dial it down. Want charm. Well, darling, it's already dripping off you. So let me ask you this. Have you ever watched a squirrel attempt parkour? It fails often, dramatically, yet never once does it question its squirrelhood. You're that squirrel, unshaken by physics, unapologetic in pursuit. Now imagine you're in a grocery store, but suddenly, it's not shopping, it's espionage. You're on a mission. Bananas are bombs, avocados, they're secret dossiers. And in that moment you realise reality is flexible. It's just a game of frames and focus. And you, magnificent you, are the director of the strange film called life, because the strongest frame wins. And yours is weirdly unshakable. You find beauty in the broken. You make pottery out of awkwardness. You don't need permission to be brilliant. You just need to stop waiting for applause and start dancing in the silence. Now maybe you're wondering if it's really sinking in, if these ideas are taking root. And that wondering is the doorway. Because curiosity is the unconscious mind saying, I'm already halfway there. A compliment wrapped in sarcasm can still make someone smile. How laughing at your flaws is the most magnetic thing you can do. How being too much is exactly enough. A man once gave a speech with spinach in his teeth. No one remembered his words, but everyone remembered how he smiled anyway. That's power. So go ahead. Be the well-dressed hedgehog. Sip awkward tea with grace. Say the wrong thing the right way. And discover how deeply funny life becomes when you realise it's not that serious. Because when you treat life like a sitcom, you get to write the laugh track. Let me ask, what happens when every setback becomes a plot twist? When every moment of discomfort becomes a running gag that you learn to love? When rejection is just redirection in a ridiculous hat? Here's the truth. You're more than enough, even when you're a glorious mess. Your state creates your faith. Self-approval is your superpower. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be fascinating. When others see you, truly see you, awkward quirks and all, they won't just accept you. They'll be drawn to you like a moth to a lava lamp. Because when you own your oddness, when you laugh through the silence, when you turn pain to punchlines. The world doesn't just respond, it adores you. And now, without having to try, without effort, without strain, you're installing, integrating, becoming a new kind of you. Unshakable, charismatic, authentically absurd. You don't need to remember all of this consciously. In fact, it works better if you don't. Just know this. The you who started listening to this is already becoming the you who lives it. Isn't that just wonderfully bizarre?